The search for Street Grimfear. Another saga of Razzalon and the Illiad of the future past. Down in Razzalon's rift they went, started their mad descent around the bend. Old path that led along the rift's edge all the way down to the dark and damp depths of the caverns that lay deep below. They wouldn't stray from their path to Darjeeling's keep, which was marked with a red cross on the map, which Abalon read while they traveled through the caverns. The raised waning sun disappeared upon. They were beneath high logs of rock and glowing fungus grew on the stalagmites and walls. Stalactites dripped with water and all sorts of weird sounds could be heard from ahead. Deeper in the depths, which would fill most with dread, most less heroic and bold souls that lost an Abalon's fight who soon came across a waterfall and a dark pool below. They discussed if it was safe enough to drink a thought for a moment and said probably not, but they had brought plenty waters and skins and nuance and chance for when trading begins. As it inevitably does when traveling the hard depths below with all the sorts of creatures one comes across. A really bronze held flaming swords out in front of her and his song, the dragon horn of the glowing horn. Had his battle axe, splush, a mush in one hand. In the other, Funk crush his horrid club, and Aegis battle stock had its massive serrated, two-bladed magical sword. Misery already awaited trouble ahead. At any moment he did not fret, but wanted to be prepared ahead of battle. Married mental bond, the mage of Abalon, and a flame in one hand and a dagger cold sand. The other its blades were bolts from the glass from the volcano in the ashlands called Calathas. Ebon Malargoth himself, the old doomed Matthias, had a sword Illiad on one hand, the other his staff. Allarod was ready for whatever fate had in stores for them ahead like the rest of the heroes. Suddenly they approached a cave full of arrows. Haggard white little weirdos half-reach between enslaved dwarves and humans. Ancient Elnezzareen in the dark and deep, the patterned mage master's witch long ago turned its religious under the grandmaster's slip. Nazareth, the damned keeper of ill-maddening wits, the rich king of Elnezzareen and grandmaster lich of Elnezzar, which they would steer the hell away from. These arrows must have escaped somehow the slave dumb. Greetings, sunlanders, where do you hive hail from? And what are you doing here in the caverns of Srun? Asked Derros in front of the others that gathered from Azeroth, Vacid Mars, and the Ashlands of Dalton One. How did you manage to escape Elnezzareen? There was an invasion by the eldritch dark elven queen, Celesladine of Elashar, mistress of menacing dreams, and of the city of Elnezzareen, way deep in the depths of the dark and deep, where there's still dark steel wings left, and where the sleepers are kept, the slumbering old, once a forgotten untold time the once was. Before the big blue boom, I assume that you know the Doom Herald has left his tomb in the depths deep below, ash and ruined, the necropolis never reached. South of here we hear the Candela King met defeat against him some weeks ago. He's now headed for a still to smash and trash some more in the Everbash war. Yes, we know that's why we're here in the rooms below. Seek out of active adventure, I'm soul. Ghost by the name Shariq, Windspear, Grimfear, the derros shuddered at the name. Windspear, clear of him before you is a villainous tomb. Raid and slay of a kin who brings doom to anyone he deems unsuitable to slay such as us. His rage knows boundaries, his hatred towards all kinds of living things, the favorite matrons of Slot, the lady of Shadron, that's dark elves of pain and of loss, of darkness, spiders, dark rim dwellers, and ethereal lost souls turn to evil ghosts of demons such as the Yugoslav, and evil spells and of cross, discord, poison, vermin, and of snakes and of salts, used to slay one's foes that have tasted much blood. They use him in their schemes to conquer all Ebon Reach. The realms below Ebon Reach, such as old Neveroth, Elnezzareen, from where we hail one such, is Celesladine, of killer shot of dark mistress of menacing dreams, whom he hates just as much as the rest of us, but whom he serves for nuance and art, magical trinkets and shins and glittering gems, whatever might be valuable to him and his kin. Think again if you think you know. Sharif Windspear, Grimfear, as I just said, you should rather stay clear of his path and his wrath and his dark urge to slay any and all low and tall who might get in his way. Stay a while in a cab instead, think ahead and take another choice than trying to find that red-headed monster of dread that is sweet to death. Deal all you'll end up with is a lot of bloodshed, but we need him to unite the Glen lands. Former Derek Corsair, Dawn and Panasan, with them united all the realms above stand. Much better chance of standing grand. Onslaught of the damned, Lord rage, doom and ruin. Luthric Ash, whose downfall is the goal we're pursuing. Derros start brewing, the one who's in charge. Seven angry tone. Luthric Ash is a good friend of ours. He's helped us in the past, freed a bunch of our kin, treated them well, let them dwell in chambers within the ashen tombs. The ancient herald of doom raised the derros under his command to terrible goons, terrific troops which he used to secure the damned ancient caverns around his crypts, many layers of basement. Get out of here now, we've spent all our patience, wasted on ingrates who in whack desperations, on a fool's errand to find a wrathful dumb man from the sunlands who won't understand that we're not prey to be hunted and slaughtered en masse with his magical spear and his magical axe. Newsflash, we don't give a damn about your mission or path on the saloon and the shore. You might have names and valuable reps there, but down here you will find plenty of threats to your life. If you're not with Luthric Ash as on his side, consider if you will ever really have a reason not to venerate the herald of doom and decide to choose a whole nother goal to pursue. That's what you should do. Ooh.